Thanks for talking to me today. Congratulations on the film as well.
Thank
of
you.
course.
Thank you.
Lee, I mean, did you set out originally to be a cause of insomnia when you made the film? Because I haven't slept much since watching it, so thanks for that.
Excellent. I'm really pleased to hear that. I guess the answer would be slightly yes, because one of the things I like about horror movies is their ability to actually stick with you afterwards. Sometimes more so than other genres. And I like the idea that, you know, someone might turn out the lights and the first thing they think about when they try to go to sleep is what they've experienced in the movie that you've made. So it's not like, I wouldn't put it out there as like, this is my goal, but it's certainly part of the motivation a little bit, yeah. I've always liked that idea of playing those magic tricks on people. And
was it always a deliberate attempt to make horror your first feature, or was it kind of right script at the right time?
A little bit of both. I think it was likely going to be a horror because I've done a number of horror shorts and I've got quite a few horror ideas on my slate. It's always going to be kind of a mystery. Sounding really Irish now. A mystery or a thriller, or something in that slightly leaning darker space. I like the tools of kind of dread and tension. So yeah, it wasn't a surprise to me or I think any of my colleagues that it was a horror movie.
And obviously the forest acts as this beautiful backdrop to the film but there must have been some difficulties filming in a forest.
Yeah.
Both of you, imagine. Yeah,
I think for me it was about finding the right spots, and sometimes things seem really obvious that you want to be able to do, but you just can't. Like, as you mentioned this previously, we were talking about like just clearing pathways. You might love the way certain trees look, but you're like, we can't actually get a safe route for Seána through here at, say, the speed we want, or rather, you know. So there's lots
of footage of me just stacking it.
Yeah. So that's I think the real challenge is really for you, because you're the one that has to perform within that environment.
But I suppose for light,
yeah.
like, that's the.
Yeah, it did bring a certain amount of challenges.
And I think I read that you did a lot of snacking during the day in filming to keep your energy up, because it's very physical kind of a role.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I get very hangry anyway, so I always kind of come prepped with like little bits and pieces like protein bars, nuts and bananas and things like that, just to keep the diva at bay.
Yeah, but you were like, Seána was like super kind of in control of that and being really healthy and really prepared, whereas the rest of us were all just like eating cake all the way through the damn shoot. You know what I mean? Whereas you actually had like real control, and it worked because you did have to do a lot of like.
I think when you're in a harness and you're being flung across the room after lunch, you don't want to just have like, you know, something really heavy in your stomach. So I would be like with all my little Tupperware coming in. It's like you'll see me at the microwave at lunch, just to, you know. So yeah, you don't. Yeah,
it's really good, real professional.
Yeah.
And so, in terms of that physicality, was there anything that you kind of looked at Lee and thought, you want me to do what?
No, I was expecting it. He gave me kind of enough warning in advance about a lot of the stuff, and then I kind of embraced it. That was part of the reason why I wanted to do the role. So anything he threw at me, I was like scared about, and I was like, oh God, am I going to be able to sell this correctly? Like, will it look like, can I do this? Because I'd never done anything like that before. But no, I very much embraced it and ran with it, and kind of just said, well, you're here now, so either try to do it right or just, like you can't, there's no other option. You can't not do it. So.
And I love the kind of, I think I can say without being spoilery, it's quite the ambiguity of the film. Ambiguity, I'll say it right soon. There's kind of like a nice strong mental health theme in there. And was that always there in the writing, or did that kind of come later on?
It was absolutely there from the get-go. I had a couple of discussions with a psychologist friend of mine around some of the conditions that we were just touching on in the story. But I think Seána's performance gave me the opportunity in the edit to even bring it more to the fore. I think it kind of strengthened that element of the story. But it was certainly, you know, we were aware and we would discuss on set, you know, your backstory and why you were maybe feeling the way you were as a character. So it was certainly woven into the plans from the beginning.
And was that something that you kind of brought anything to that from?
It was definitely playing on my mind and on Sarah's mind that is this happening? Is it not happening? But from an acting point of view, I had to feel that this is reality. So for her, she does doubt herself and she doesn't know if it's real or not. But when But in the playing of it, it's like, no, this is happening, and she really does feel that her son isn't her son, and that these things are actually happening. And she doesn't know if she's gone crazy, but it is reality for her.
Yeah, if you didn't believe it, it wouldn't be convincing to an audience, you know. So that's the real goal. Like, was really finding those connective touch points as well that you could lean into, and then bring your own feelings and emotion into that mix.
It was wonderfully done. I was, really blown away by the film. It also felt like towards the end seems like there could be a lot more to explore in there. Would you want to go back and maybe look at another hole in the ground?
Never go back to that sinkhole. I don't know. I do like sequels under the right circumstances. Yeah. Probably not right away. I've kind of felt if I would go anywhere with the story, I might go earlier. Before Sarah's story, maybe Noreen and Dez's. Noreen and Dez's kind of story. Maybe that's just an obvious thing to do. I think there's themes that I'm, and this is kind of an obscure way of answering your question, but I think there's definitely thematic elements within the story that I would explore further. Whether or not that includes a sinkhole remains to be seen. Depends on how big the check is.
But the characters, you do like to reoccur characters.
I do. Oh, there will be.
I'm planting something there.
I wrote a screenplay right after The Hole in the Ground called Ghost Train, which is based on a short film I made called Ghost Train. And there's a scene in it where one kid is trying to explain to another kid how it's okay to lose it from time to time, and references her auntie and her son, Sarah and Chris. So they do exist inside another tiny little pocket of the universe.
And the people at the dinner table,
they were from
another short film. I
think I've got 5 ideas. I'm just going to rinse them all out.
Just recycling them, and I'm exposing it here. Sorry.
Good. It sounds like it's going to start writing itself. I like that. And obviously also for Sarah, she was a very real character. But there was also sort of elements of some real heroes from film. I feel like she had quite a Ripley from Aliens moment.
For sure.
Ripley earlier.
Probably can't mention it sort of towards the end of the movie, but she definitely has that. And were there any influences like that from other characters?
I think I tried to steer clear of watching any other iconic female performances, because I think I was a little fearful that they might drip into my performance, and I was just like taken, So I just tried to base it as much character-wise, what was given to me on the page, and draw from the women in my life rather than women on screen that are in my life.
Yeah, you cleverly kind of avoided, I was digging into a few things that you were kind of insistent to not be maybe polluted in the most positive way you could imagine. Yeah. I do remember I did give you
imagery.
I did give you some imagery one day, and I said, look, here are some key cinematic, female cinematic heroes. I was like, what I'm trying to create here is that you go on this page too. That was kind of the idea. I always felt that if someone sees an image, and I hope going forward, someone sees an image of Seána in The Hole in the Ground, they'll absolutely know what the film is.
Well, they'll know from the dungarees.
They'll know from those dungarees, yeah. They'll know the dungarees, all right.
Yeah, I no longer will only think of Chucky.
Chucky Annie,
But also, just to end on a very serious note, what is the best way to get wallpaper off a wall? I'm sure at some point Sarah's using a spatula. That's right, she's using a spatula.
Even I could tell her that I would have hired a steamer and got that
professional help, I would say.
Yeah. Well, everyone could use some professional help.
Yeah.
And James, of course, what a find.
Yeah,
what was
he's
it like
amazing.
working with him?
He's great. Like the strength of his performance that's on screen, it wasn't a battle to get that. That's probably the nicest thing I could say about him. It was kind of a pleasure to guide him into that space, and he just has great instincts. But it was the combination, of Seána and James and the dynamic that they brought to screen. I think you're always looking to, you're kind of keep on saying you go to the supermarket and collect all these ingredients, and then you're hoping you can put them together right. But thankfully, with my cast, they melded together so well.
Yeah, he's very smart. He's like a little sponge. You just take all the information in, and you would know if you're like, okay, we're going to go for one, and you just turn it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really great.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.